So, students, today we are going to discuss the process of transcription. Already we have discussed about the transcription unit. That means where the particular region of the DNA which is to be transcribed, and we have already discussed about the enzyme for transcription, that is core enzyme with sigma factor and rho factor. So today we will basically discuss the process of transcription, and we know that process of transcription is basically the formation of RNA from DNA. And this process in this process we know that only one strand of DNA, that is which is running 3' to 5' is considered as the template strand, and at this remain functional. Clear? And the process of transcription proceed from 5' to 3' direction, as we know that the third carbon of this ribose sugar is contains that functional unit. And so when the next ribonucleotide is coming, the phosphate present in the fifth carbon combines with this third carbon of the former ribonucleotide by forming phosphodiester bond. So of the ribose sugar of the former ribonucleotide by forming phosphodiester bond. So obviously the direction for the transcription process will be 5' to 3' on the template strand, which is 3' to of the DNA, which is 3' to 5'. And so for the convenience of a study, the whole transcription process has been divided into three parts. That is, first of the initiation, where from the transcription process is getting started. Next is the elongation, that means the transcription process proceeds. And third is the termination, that means with the terminator, when we know that in the transcription unit there is a part called terminator. When this chain elongation, ultimately chain comes to this terminator, the whole process is stopped, and that is the termination. So we will discuss one after another how these processes are acting in this whole transcription process. So first of all, let us discuss about the elongation. So at first there is activation of the nucleotides. That means the nucleotides like AMP, clear, get activated with the help of energy. The phosphate bonds are formed to ATP. UMP gets activated to UTP. So likewise the nucleotides get activated. Clear? That means they actually gains energy. And so first part is the initiation. So first part is the initiation. You can see here, this is the promoter part of the transcription unit. Clear? This is the promoter part of the transcription unit. Clear? This is the promoter region, and just after the promoter region, this is the region where from the transcription will be started. Clear? Where from this DNA will be transcribed. And so this is the template strand which is running 3' to 5' downstream. Clear? Which is running 3' to 5' downstream. So this is acting as a template strand, and actually the RNA will be formed on this strand only. Clear? And we already know that this is the strand which is running 5' to 3' downstream is the coding strand, which will not remain functional during this process. So let us see how this initiation occurs. So at first, this is the core enzyme. This is the core enzyme, and this is the catalytic part of the core enzyme, and this is the sigma factor. Clear? Normally the sigma factor does not remain binded with the core enzyme. Clear? So this is the core enzyme, which is the DNA dependent RNA polymerase, and this is the sigma factor. So when the transcription is to be initiated, at first this is the core enzyme or DNA dependent RNA polymerase, actually RNA polymerase, which comes to the promoter region, and the sigma factor binds with it and helps to identify the promoter region. So sigma factor during this phase binds with it and helps to identify the promoter region, and during this phase, this RNA polymerase, with the help of sigma factor, RNA polymerase get tightly bound with the promoter region. Clear? So thus the promoter region is identified and RNA polymerase gets bind with the promoter region, and now this RNA polymerase start extending itself. Clear? Start extending itself and reaches the start signal. Clear? Where it's now, when it reaches the start signal, it starts melting the DNA. That means it separates the DNA strands. Clear? So that RNA formation can occur, and separates the DNA strand and separates the DNA strand so that the RNA formation can occur, and now the sigma factor is removed from the core enzyme. So this is how the initiation occurs. So next phase is the process of elongation or base pairing. Clear? The process of elongation or base pairing. So activated, you can see here, this is the ribonucleotide with 3 phosphates, that is triphosphates. Clear? So these activated phosphorylated ribonucleotides lie to the complementary nitrogen bases. So here are the nitrogen bases, complementary nitrogen bases, because DNA is already being melted, so the strand has been separated, and now this complementary these are activated. So like suppose this is having adenine, clear, nitrogen. So suppose A is there, so opposite to A, clear, there will be U. So T is here, so opposite to T there will be A. So likewise, the complementary nitrogen nucleotides, ribonucleotides with complementary nitrogen bases comes to the template strand. Clear? And template strand, with the help of phosphatase, this pyrophosphate, clear, is released and broken down to inorganic phosphate. This pyrophosphate is released and broken down to inorganic phosphate, clear, which provides the energy for forming the temporary bond. Clear? Which provides the energy for establishing temporary bond with the complement base pairs, and this the third carbon of the former ribose sugar of the former ribonucleotide contains this hydroxyl group, to which the fifth carbon containing the phosphate of the next ribonucleotide, clear, fifth carbon of the ribose sugar containing the phosphate of the phosphate, clear, they combines to form phosphodiester bond. They combines forming phosphodiester bond, and thus the chain elongates, and thus the chain elongates gradually. Clear? Forming this phosphodiester bond one after another, the ribonucleotides get attached and the chain elongates. Now, so you can see here the chain is elongating, and this transcription bubble, that means the region where this DNA has been melted or DNA has been separated, that forms a bubble-like structure which is called transcription bubble. They actually proceeds with the elongation of the chain. These actually proceeds, and you can see the chain elongation also proceeds along with the transcription bubble. Clear? So this is how the chain is getting gradually elongated and proceeding towards the 3' direction. From 5' it is proceeding towards the 3' direction. And so this is about the elongation of the chain. and this elongation part is mainly done by the RNA polymerase, the core enzyme of the RNA polymerase. Clear? So as the elongation, as this enzyme proceeds, the elongation also proceeds accordingly. Clear? And the RNA synthesis continues on the DNA template. And this elongation continues till it reaches the terminator. So this elongation will continue till it reaches the terminator. Now next is the termination process. In termination process, this rho factor has that ATPase activity, and it breaks or it releases. Clear? It separates the RNA polymerase as well as the newly built RNA from the DNA strand. It separates the newly built RNA from the DNA strands. Clear? The sense and now, so this is rho factor is helping. Clear? It has ATPase activity and helping to separate the newly formed RNA from the DNA strand, as well as the DNA strand itself contains, this is the region which is very rich in CC. Clear? So this is the region which is very rich in cytosine. So rho factor separates the newly formed strands from and RNA polymerase also, and you can see here the terminator, in this termination region there is which is very rich in that is adenine in DNA and uracil in RNA. So complementary will be uracil. So RNA in RNA, it is rich in uracil. But before that, clear, in certain region of the chain, just to some few nucleotide before it, there is certain region which is very rich in guanosine and very rich in another region which is very rich in cytosine. So as the chain gets separating from the DNA, these guanosine and cytosine rich regions, they forms complement to each other. They forms complement to each other, forming an hairpin bend. Clear? And this guanosine, we know guanosine forms 3 hydrogen bonds with each cytosine, and so this is very strong bonding compared to this adenine uracil bonding, and thus it helps to remove this or break this adenine uracil bonding and release the chain from the DNA. So rho factor as well as some intrinsic factor of the RNA helps to remove the chain from the DNA, and finally as soon as the chain is removed, the DNA duplex again come to its normal position. The original position is restored within them. So this is about transcription process. I think it is clear to you, so go through it, and next we will be discussing the post-transcriptional process in eukaryotes, because we know that eukaryotes have split genes, and so there are certain post-transcriptional processes which we will be discussing in the next class.